Yeah.
The sun is gone. The dust is gone.
Oops.
They're all broken up, so they're
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
record.
You're all set.
Thank you. It doesn't show that it's recording on our end, the light's not red.
It is recording though.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
got a notice that it was recording.
Yep.
Okay,
All right, so this is the town council board of finance or town council parks land use. Sorry, start over. This is town council recreation land use and conservation committee with the BOS liaison meeting. I know Amy Carroll couldn't be here tonight. She's not here. Hopefully other people are joining online, but our agenda is public comment. Okay, number 2. So I've sent everyone the budgets from John and also from the conservation chair, Chris Schiffer. And the second is to review on the agenda, the Conservation Commission budget. If there's any questions from anyone or Chris, you just want to go over it quickly?
I'd be happy to. Did we lose Hillary?
she's there, just not. Here.
Not in picture. I can feel it. To gallery, yeah. Okay.
I'm
great.
here. I'm here. I'm listening.
Just hiding people that don't have a picture up.
There you go. So the Conservation Commission budget is pretty much the same as the prior year. It's only $26,000. We're dedicating $10,000 to support sustainable Connecticut silver accreditation efforts. They can come in any number of forms, whether it's for communication or for matching funds towards projects and fundraising. The second line item is $6,000, which we do for New Canaan river testing. I think that's in coordination with Harbor Watch. And I think, is Harbor Watch doing some testing for you as well, Tiger?
Yes, it is. Yes, they are, I should say.
So we have kind of a comprehensive effort at river testing to collect data over time to get longitudinal data. That 6,000 would also cover about 3,000 for a New Canaan High School science team study for the water flowing into and out of Mead Park, Bristol Park, and down to the Norotan River. And then the last item, 10,000, is 2023 will be the year where we start gearing up for the plan of conservation and development. That's primarily for funding research and mapping of open space in New Canaan. And making sure that we have accurate data that goes into the plan and into the projections.
Does the river testing include pesticides or is it just nitrogen and?
We're really focused on oxygen, nitrogen, phosphate. The river testing more broadly focuses on E. coli. There is not the more in-depth testing on pesticides and other variables yet. But I think, and I'm not sure what gets tested flowing into the treatment facilities either, or what you have on your side, Tiger. But we haven't really gotten down into the, parts per billion kind of testing on a regular basis. But it's something that, raises a question. Should we be doing that or not? Tiger, what do you guys test for?
Basically the same that you are, and it's a comprehensive panel, but the majority of what we're looking for is illicit discharges. So E. coli is a large one, and other factors, but we're looking mainly for illicit discharge and detection, meaning chemicals and other things, or E. coli, so we know whether or not a septic system is failing or we have another serious concern in that regard. Pesticides are a little bit hard to pick up because a lot of them are picked up in the plant or not necessarily runoff, and then when they are runoff, you're necessarily not going to pick them up on a dry testing day. You might pick them up on a wet testing day, but not on a dry day.
So that's the $26,000 budget. And on the capital side, It'll be the final, capital call, phase 4 for the, Bristol Park Centennial Master Plan. It's a total of $97,500. It really is going towards the finishing out of the plan. Some more, walkways, some more fencing work. Trying to sort out the Park Lane, access way are the biggest elements of it, but it looks like we will bring that entire, program in on time and on budget for the centennial celebration and you're invited September 8th, 2024. Can you get that in your calendars? September 8th, 2024.
And then the $100,000 land acquisition fund.
Right, and that is the, it will be the 4th year that we're contributing towards the land acquisition fund. I would argue that 100,000 isn't going to get you very far, but it is a continuation. In today's market, trying to acquire open space is at best 150,000 an acre, and at worst $500,000 an acre. The objective always with the land acquisition fund is to improve the town's readiness to step in when a water company says, hey, we may want to get out of this, or a neighbor who has some property adjoining to one of the parks says, yeah, it's time to move on. Would you be interested? And it's, I think it's a great program, and I think really the direction it should take is to look at the conveyance fee structure that we have in town. You may not be aware of it. Have you, Hillary or Robert, have you ever sold a house in New Canaan?
Mhm.
When you sold the house, did you recall the conveyance fee that you paid as a seller?
2%,
1.25%.
1.25, but then.
1% to the state
And the.
and 0.25%
basis point.
to the town.
Yeah.
You know, it's very similar to if you do a building, if you build, which I'm doing now, I do a $250,000 garage build, and I'm paying 2.12%. Well, 1% is the building department fee, but 1% or 100 basis points is the planning and zoning inclusion fee, which is dedicated towards supporting affordable housing. So we have a mechanism where fees are directed. What we don't have is a mechanism to direct the 25 basis points of the local municipal conveyance fee. And, you know, I happened to look at the historical record on that conveyance fee, and when it was done, it was put in place when the federal government eliminated the stamp tax fee that it put on houses. It gave the state and municipalities the opportunity to pick up to 25 basis points of conveyance fee. But the legislative record says, in hopes that towns will use those funds to preserve and protect open space. So the historical record says that's where it should go, but the way things naturally go, it just gets summed up into general spending. The same thing that we complain about that the state of Connecticut does, in some ways we do here in New Canaan. So I would argue that going forward, the town council should start looking at, should we be directing, say, 12.5 basis points towards the land acquisition fund to make it a consistently funded program and a funding program that goes up and down as the market goes up and down. In years when there are a tremendous amount of selling going on, there's more money going into it. When the market slows down, less money goes into it. So it's in the cycle. So that's just one thought going forward, and I hope that it's something that Board of Finance and the town council start to consider, which is, shouldn't we be allocating a portion of the 25 basis points towards the land acquisition fund?
So have that as the mechanic to build that fund rather than in the future going to for a budget.
Right, and the truth is, you can build the fund, it still shows up as part of the town reserves. And you can still have the mechanism to say the release of the funds is subject to town council approval or Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance recommendations, or whatever, some combination. And the funds are there until they decide, okay, we need to apply it. And the simple rationale is if you don't start doing this, you're not going to get in line for state support, because they look at this favorably. They give you higher flooring in terms of funding applications if you have something like this than if you don't. And the truth is, it's very leveraged. Between what the land trust can raise and what the state can give, the town can leverage its dollars 2 to 1, 3 to 1 in doing deals. That's my pitch.
Hey, Hillary, any questions? All right,
Great.
No,
Thank you.
none for me.
Okay. Thank you.
we're done.
I'm done. I want to hear John's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do you?
I copied everything out and I printed it. I got it all ready.
Right. Now, do you want the whole thing, or do you want me to start, and feel free to cut me off at any point in time, your choice.
So Hillary, I watched I don't know if anyone else watched the Board of Selectmen. I did, we will get this again in town council. When is the Board of Finance?
The 14th of February.
Okay, February 14th.
And they'll get it there too.
I kind of feel like there's not enough people here.
Right, it is before.
Yeah, yeah, if you want to give a summary
Okay,
and quicker, and then I just have questions.
well, and we're gonna start, there, so regularly going through our whole department and everything, but basically, we have 22 full-time employees in the Parks and Rec department. And then we hire over 100 people part-time, from lifeguards to camp counselors, to before and after school instructors and things like that. So with that said, you know, Todd declined as the superintendent of parks. He took over for me. He was my assistant then. And we promoted one of the guys internally, Ryan Restivo. He's the assistant superintendent. Zach Philippus is the new assistant recreation director. Steve Dayton is the recreation supervisor and aquatics director. Aggie Aspinwall, the director of Lapham Community Center, and her assistant Kathleen Collins is the assistant director there. We make the residents in the Kansas leisure time more enjoyable. So part of our mission is to enhance the quality and life of New Canaan residents, to foster beneficial use of personal and family time. And I think most important is we provide and promote a wide variety of quality recreation facilities and services at a reasonable cost. So from after school programs to a walk in the park. Do you recognize any of those pictures, Chris? You'll never figure out the one on the left, but that's all right. So, and then with everything in between, from that's Connor Field, take it this. In November, right after we had it evaluated, 4th of July concerts. You know, father-daughter dance, our Halloween, then 3 seatings with breakfast with Santa. The father-daughter dance is a new one, sold out in 18 hours with no promotion. So only the people that received an email about it found out about it, and it sold right out. Of course, and everything in between includes the pool, Kiwanis, Lapham Community Center, and weddings and events at Waveney House. And then, of course, a lot of sports programs. I am going with the best. Okay. You know, maintaining the fields and snow removal, even though we haven't had to have that snow blower out there at all yet this year, to the color drop. So.
You bought the snow blower last year?
Actually, that's not our picture.
Okay.
But, no, we bought it a few years ago. Yeah.
Last year as well.
Yeah, exactly. So in this, we have many partners in the effort, you know. So this was a slide that I had in there. We're 8 divisions, but since I first gave that to the selectmen, now we're 9, because we've added in the self-sustaining fund. And the simple part of that is we didn't add to the budget. Stuff came out of one place and went into another. So it hasn't changed the overall budget. And in the future, that will be a fund there, but there won't be any tax dollars going into it. What we bring in for programs and weddings will stay right there and go back out. So in that case, where it will be useful is things like the father-daughter dance. If knowing that that's sold out so quick, we would have liked to have added another seating. We can't do that because we're limited by budget, but we won't be anymore, so.
The Board of Finance approved that.
The Board of Finance approved that, so yeah, that's why it's now. It's happened. I don't know when we're exactly going into effect with doing budgets and everything. The finance department has to make sure everything's organized that way, but it will be soon, so. So civic activities, yeah, these are the small things. Most of the money we took out of civic activities this year, and we're using up some of the special projects money that's been collected over the last, I don't know exactly how long, but we have a substantial amount of money in there. So band concerts, porta potties, things like that have been removed. So there's your rec department right there. With that, so I'll be glad to stop anytime if anybody has any questions, but the self-sustaining fund is just a different way that we're going to be able to fund our programs. So rec administration is probably the biggest one. With that, we pulled out money. What you see there on the screen is salaries part-time, social security, programs and activities, supplies, programs, sporting, uniforms and equipment, and banking and transaction fees. That's all going into the self-sustaining fund. That was the money that came out of the rec operation budget. So about $800,000. With that, we still have some minor increases that affected the rec department budget. Properties and repair and maintenance. This is anything from goals out on the fields to scoreboards to whatever. And some of it just hasn't, we want to get better in line, making sure that it's maintained. So we added a little bit of money there. And also we transferred money out of that budget, equipment repairs, mobile equipment, and trails maintenance. We transferred into the Parks Department operating budget. People that maintain the trails should be having the money instead of having it in two different places. Waveney House and all our weddings. So we've also transferred money out from weddings and events into the self-sustaining fund. So the part of the house manager, which everybody knows is Butch, part of his wages have been transferred out. The wedding coordinator has been transferred out of there. Overtime, which we have to use whenever there's, not whenever there's an event, but quite a few major events relies on overtime. 401A contributions, which is the match for the retirement, advertising, and equipment, China, silverware. So in that, we also put in money for that's still staying in the budget for outside contractors and major maintenances. Very simply, outside contractors, we're going to be doing more cleaning of the house. We want to hire a professional company to come in and do a deep cleaning a couple times a year. We also major maintenance. What we're finding is things like the kitchen appliances. They're at the end of their life expectancy. We're seeing more repairs on them. And eventually we're going to have to start changing them out. So that the 20,000 and the 10,000 is still in the Waving House budget. Paddle tennis. We took money out of paddle tennis into the self-sustaining fund. There's revenues of about $78,000 in paddle tennis. We're pulling out $28,000 of part-time expenses, which is the tennis attendance and a little bit of snow removal. Again, not this year, but Social Security comes out there, and then $1,000 that we miscellaneously use to repair the courts.
So sorry, so all of the 78,000 projected revenue goes into the sustaining fund?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yep. Basically, the way we're thinking of the self-sustaining fund, we'll make a little bit of money because every program we try to make money, every now and then you have one that will lose. But
Yeah, I think because when there was that story in the newspaper, or whatever, a couple of years ago, paddle, brought in this much, but only, that much was budgeted for it, and then people were upset. So this
That's basically it.
Yeah.
But what we think will happen is as we build that reserve up some, we'll give some back to the town. Just as they're operating,
Right,
you know, they would have had it otherwise, and hopefully we can give some to capital projects. We're
right.
trying to do it at paddle courts
So if they
especially.
have a screen issue, all of a sudden they can get taken care of rather than waiting for the next budget year.
Exactly,
Yeah.
things like that. We should be able to do a better job. So, most of our programs, we're not trying to raise money on them. It's not like we say we want 50% profits on anything. It's usually a few bucks.
Yeah, just so you can get that extra clinic without going for a special appropriation.
Exactly. The good part is, as the money comes in, it's available. So. Okay, so park buildings, a lot of our stuff is handled, through the facilities department, but we still have budget for these buildings, so. Major changes, we've had repairs and maintenance again, refuse service, some supply increases due to costs, supply chain issues, and then, of course, electricity, fuel, and propane. Those are all projected at 10% because we really don't know, but that's happened across the board on, you know, anything from fuel oil for vehicles to whatever we've gone with that 10%.
Do you have any solar on any of your buildings other than the pool?
The pool has solar, other than that, on our park buildings, no.
Just the shed does.
Yeah, Bliss Park, Nature Center.
Yeah,
They said, what about the shed, the service, parts?
they looked at the building and their first reaction was, well, there's maybe enough roof, but not enough strength
Yeah, okay.
to make the change out. It's not pitched right and everything else, so.
Did you notice a benefit from the pool solar? Does it get lost in the big increase?
It gets lost in the big increase, but I think we maybe saved $8,000. With that said, we just start paying back the town because the town paid for the roof replacement that needed to be done before the solar panels, and they paid for the solar panels.
Right.
So when I say we just paid it back, the memos have gone out. I don't know if it's officially happened, but the bond is paid off on the pool.
Right.
So we're in a good position there.
Down in the generating.
Are all this-
On other programs.
And are all the solar panels ours, the towns, except for South School? I don't know, Tiger, if you know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
South School's a PPA, but are the solar panels, the rest of the buildings in town, I know we're digressing, are they owned by town?
No, the schools are all PPAs.
The schools are all PPAs. right?
Yeah, and we have, the ones that we have are at present we own. We haven't entered a PPA for others, so the nature center, the pool, highway department, those are all, we own all those. Town hall, sorry, yeah, we own all those.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Excited by that.
Okay, so now here's a video from Aggie. It wouldn't play the sound in the Board of Selectmen, and it won't hear either. So, basically, you guys know about that. They do a great job over there. They've been slowly getting busier and busier. More people are coming out. It's slow this time of year, you know, weather-wise, and it's just January, February. But with that 4.1% increase, it's mainly just costs that have gone up that. So. Kiwanis Park.
And they're not part of this self-sustaining fund.
They're not,
Yeah.
and we purposely left them out of the self-sustaining
Yeah,
fund
they have a-
because they're not self-sustaining.
Yeah, and they have a role.
Yeah, and we feel strongly that the town should be supporting the seniors. And we hate to have to raise prices on things and they have a lot of free programs.
Yeah,
And we hate to have to start changing that to make them profit centered. So. Kiwanis Park, main thing that's happening in Kiwanis Park, the sand, we purchase sand every year to freshen up the park in the springtime. We're way upside down with that. You know, the amount of sand that we need to buy compared to how much money we had, so we need to buy an extra load. And then chemicals. And the main thing with chemicals, the supplies chemicals, is chlorine went up almost 25%. We just got next year's pricing. So after the presentation to the Board of Selectmen, we had that notice, and And we raised it up, so. Now. Revenues, there's still some revenues that come outside of the self-sustaining fund. The rec administration, we did not bring the dog park fees in there. That's almost balanced on its own. This last year, we were a little bit below. We spent more money on trying to seed and fertilize than we had money coming in. And then concessions, that's a very small amount, but it comes from like Apple Cart down at Meat Park, their lease.
It's a lease of the Apple Cart building?
Yes,
Was that the one at 6,000?
yes.
Okay. So that's for Meat Park. What about the pool, or is that
The
separate?
pool goes into the pool
Pool
fund.
fund, so
Yeah.
because I didn't see a line for the concessions in that, but
There is, it's not separated out, it just goes.
it just goes in,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and then we're projecting about 76,500 for revenue coming in from Lapham.
What about with Kiwanis? In the budget, it had expenditures, but it didn't have anything for revenue. What about the lease one?
The lease from the Y comes. Where did it go? We don't get it, we don't get credited for it, in the part.
Goes into the rental account.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do we know what it is for this year?
I believe we're going up to 15,000. We went up from 10 to 12 or 12.5. I think we're going to 15. In last year's agreement, it was a 2-year lease. So I can find out for you. Okay. So. Just looking at the programs, this is what's going into the self-sustaining fund. You know, the pad attendance fees, the numbers could be just a little bit off. So, but the key to know is we're not looking for more money to go into the self-sustaining fund than is coming out of the budget. Okay, and the same thing for the weddings. And then the Steve Benko pool is a separate fund. It is its own self-sustaining fund. The good news on the pool is last year, we never closed one day. We closed parts of days for thunderstorms and everything, but we never had a full rate out. So with that said, that it's great to have people using it more. It costs us a little bit more in chemicals and everything else, a little bit more in labor, but it's still worth it. We're not going to close just because of labor, that type of thing. So we did increase our costs for cleaning last year, and we want to go up a little bit more in the pool itself and the locker rooms. We had great luck with what we changed with doing the locker rooms, but it cost us a little bit more than we originally budgeted. Major maintenance, we went up a little bit more, even though we're doing a substantial amount of work. Over $100,000 is being done right now of upgrades. We still feel that a 20-year-old pool, things are going to happen. We need to have a little bit more money for that.
Did you get that new pump? Wasn't?
That's part of the work right now.
Yeah.
The end of the summer, the umbrella pump or the mushroom pump, whatever you want to call it, went, and we got one of the last motors in the country. So the beginning of the season, we talked to our pool guy, and he said, "You need a new main pump ever? No problem. You might be down 3 days. It takes me a little bit to get it." Towards the end of July, he said, "If your pump goes down, I can't get you one. Your pool is closed for the rest of the year." So that's one of the things that we're doing. We're replacing the pump. We're still looking at it. We're hoping we can put 2 pumps in, keep the original, put another one in, and alternate them back and forth. If we can't do that, we're saving the old one, putting in the new one, and we've got a backup that will take a couple days to switch over.
That was in the current year's budget. I just didn't know if you actually got the parts.
Yes, the
Okay.
pump is on order.
Okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, but
Everything's behind.
everything's behind, and that's one of the reasons why we want to do the work. You know, from August on, there's sleepless nights, whenever a thunder shower would go through with the potential of doing something to the pump.
Yeah, like has the generator even come for Lapham? That was the ARPA fund?
That just got ordered Right, the selectmen approved it, was it last week, Tiger?
Which one you talking?
Lapham Center.
The
Yeah.
generation, the ARPA funds.
Yes, that the selectmen just approved that purchase. That was not an ARPA fund, that we have money in our budget for that.
I thought that was the ARPA fund that went through the generator at Lapham.
No, we had a large generator ordered that went ARPA. Let me check on that. I don't think that was ARPA funds. We had money, I think. But I'll check.
So we voted on that, right? That was in, I thought that was in
Yeah.
this. Yeah,
That's my memory too, because I remember asking, why are we
Maybe.
doing this through ARPA and not through like a special appropriation? And you said, and it was faster to do it through ARPA, I think. And
Maybe that was
and
it. I think we had it
yeah,
in
and
our
it
budget and it
qualified.
got pulled and went to ARPA. So I think that's my
Yes.
confusion.
Yeah, I think that's right, Tiger. And it was just one of those things where it was going to take a very long time going through the whole special appropriation process. And so we
Mhm.
did it through ARPA instead. Robin, my recollection mirrors yours.
yeah.
I'll defer to you.
Not to say I don't trust you, Tiger.
It's all good. I have too many to think about. So no, I'll defer
You
to you.
do. You have a lot on your plate, my friend.
So that takes us to the end of pool revenue. It's to say, we haven't changed any of the pool revenue this coming year, except we raised the guest fee for anything from tennis, paddle tennis, and that includes the pool. And we went from $10 a day to $12. And that main reason we raised the pool up that way is we have the same attendants working in different places. And we'd like to just make it simple.
Okay.
So,
And then the pool enterprise fund, bank account is what, 1.5?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's up there. So that's why we're paying for the roof and the solar panels.
Yeah. Okay.
So, park maintenance, I've been preparing the park maintenance budget and managing it for 24 years, but Tiger has it in the public works thing. I'll be glad to answer any questions, but he's
Yeah,
also doing it, I think it's a separate
It's
subcommittee.
a separate, I know you sent it and I sent but that any of the capital projects, I think is under infrastructure, Tiger. It's that committee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just,
That's fine, I just, so, I have nothing else to present, but I'll be glad to answer anybody's question.
Hillary, do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so. I really like, I've said this before in another meeting, I'm really happy that we're doing the sustaining funds. I think that's a really good initiative to do. So I'm happy to hear that we're doing that. But otherwise, no, I don't have any questions.
Thank you, we think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's just going to make things so much easier and it's going to open up more possibilities for our residents. I think it's just the smartest thing to do.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Kim Norton, actually, she couldn't make it tonight, so she just emailed me some questions. She just had a question that this is more capital or maintenance, but repair of pickleball court surface not sanded after repair court 2. I don't know pickleball, I don't know what that means, so
Pickleball not sanded.
not sanded after repair on court 2.
They did do some repairs to the paint.
Okay. I don't think pickleball's okay.
Yeah, we were happy with what they did, so now
I'll ask her to email you.
okay.
And then the other thing, she said there were fence missing pieces in the southwest
Perfect,
corner.
yeah, we had a tree hit it, that was fixed last week or the week before.
Okay.
All right, so, yeah. Those were easy.
Right, that was, I think my only question was fuel, propane, electricity is up 21% for fuel, propane, 12% for electricity. Is that
They
enough?
should be all 10%, that's what we were projecting, just as a placeholder, similar to this year where
Oh,
we didn't have enough money.
Yeah, what I saw on this was that it was up, it said 21.6% for the fuel, and the propane, up $11,000.
On which one? Pool?
Not the pool, it was, I was looking through the line items.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I can't find it now. So, but it's gonna be kept down to 10%.
It's supposed to be all at 10%. It was there's a misprint. I missed it too. But, you know, like right now, we're upside down on fuel,
Well, yeah, so.
like you are in your house, so to speak, if you were budgeting it and everything else, so.
What's
Once it's
up?
renegotiated, though, they have to press back down on fuel oil. You can, well, I was lucky, I guess. But, well, and that, and hopefully it'll stay mild.
My fuel prices are way down. I've got 3 years worth of firewood.
Yeah.
Split and stacked inside sheds, so.
With you there. With you there.
I'll be glad to.
I'll email.
I'll look
But
at
I
it.
just get like with the electricity, if that was, I mean, what's the process if you guys, you just have to go back to the Board of Finance?
Exactly.
Okay,
Didn't you just go back, Tiger, for some gasoline and diesel, or was it heating oil? You're
you
muted.
needed,
Could you ask that question again?
Didn't you just go back for fuel oil, appropriation for fuel oil, or was it gasoline and diesel?
Yeah, we went back for all three, actually. That was the appropriation that, it went to the Board of Finance for this year to make us whole because of what we budgeted wasn't nearly enough, you know, based upon the costs when diesel spiked to $6 and $7 a gallon. So they gave us just under $300,000 to make it through to the end of this year. We are looking at purchasing gas. We usually purchase gas around this time, gasoline, not natural gas, for a year, and the prices we're getting are just under $3 a gallon, which is pretty favorable. So we would have this the remainder of this year and then part of next year budgeted, and we budgeted pretty true to that as far as what the numbers we gave out. But we'd have to wait for heating oil and diesel till the summer. That's when we typically do those. And the Board of Finance asked us to wait before we contract it out. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay.
No further questions. I'd say we adjourn the meeting at, I have to say the time, you always do,
7:40.
7:40. Night, everyone. Thank you, Tiger.
Thanks, Tiger.
Good night. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks.